Question 3. Many of you asked me about my views on the so-called Muslim ban. I'm just answering this now just to say that I wrote a blog post about it, and then I was on Bill Maher's show to talk about it, and both of those are on my blog. Perhaps I'll just say that in my last meeting with Maajid, we spoke about it, and he had a good distinction or a reformulation of what is reasonable here, which I fully agree with. I think I said something like, it's hard to get away from the logic of some kind of religious test. It is actually relevant. Once you realize you're looking for jihadists, it is relevant to know whether somebody is a Salafi Muslim, right? Because he would stand more of a chance of being a jihadist than a Unitarian Universalist would. But the way Maajid talks about this, we just want to know about people's beliefs and attitudes, right? We're looking for illiberal beliefs. And yes, it is true that Islam has more than its fair share of people who are fundamentally illiberal at this moment, who don't support free speech, who think apostates should be killed, say. But we are looking for illiberalism of that sort in general. And if there's some new cult born tomorrow that produces the same kind of illiberalism, well then we'd want to stop those people at the border too, if we could. So a Muslim ban doesn't make any sense. But nor does it make any sense to say you can't ask people detailed questions about their worldview in the process of vetting them. Of course you have to ask people, how would you feel if your daughter married outside your religion, say? And there's a wrong answer to that question. If you say, well, I would cut her head off, we don't want you in the country, right? And we are right not to want you in the country. And it's instructive that there are Muslim organizations that don't want those sorts of questions asked in the vetting process. Of course, as a very common theme with me, this comes down to ideas and beliefs and the degree to which people subscribe to them, because this is the best predictor of what they will do in the world. And we care about what people will do and how likely they are to assimilate into our society in a productive way. And we're right to care about those things. So if you want any more on Trump's executive order and why I don't think it was a good idea, you can see those blog articles and the aforementioned interview with Bill Maher. Next question. Some things you've said in the past would lead me to believe that you would support a Muslim ban, whereas lately you're saying you don't support it. If you don't support a ban, yet admit that no matter how thorough we vet people, we will inevitably be importing some percentage of Muslims who will either commit bad acts or tacitly support those who do, what should our policy be with respect to Muslim immigration? So that's a good question. I understand the basis for the confusion. And as I said before about my conversation with Maajid, I think we have to keep people out of our society who seem profoundly unlikely to ever share our values. And it just so happens that most of these people, the world over, are coming from a single religion, but not all of them. And no, this doesn't suggest that we need to deport American citizens who don't share our values, right? Round up all the white nationalists and Islamists and racists, and we can't do that, right? But the fact that we can't do that should make us circumspect about who we let in. So the issue is a more generic one with respect to values and beliefs and a person's goals in life. What sort of world does any given person want to live in? I don't know that much about the vetting process. It was actually just an episode of 60 Minutes last week. I believe it was a repeat, where they showed what it was like to vet Syrian refugees. And they followed a couple of families who went through that process. And I have no reason to think, contra Trump's suggestion, that we're generally doing this badly. It certainly takes a long time. And just judging from some of the families you saw in this 60 Minutes episode, who, to my eye, were obviously not jihadists or Islamists. I mean, there was one widow with her kids, right, who was not wearing a veil. If she was pretending to be a liberal, rational person, she's like a Meryl Streep level actress. So I look at her and I say, of course this person should come to the U.S. Look at what she has suffered. Listen to what she says she wants out of life. There's no question that people like that should be let into the country and will only add value. And this is to say nothing of the people I actually know who are liberal Muslims or former Muslims, right? People like Ayan and Majid and Azra Nomani and Faisal Saeed Al-Mutar and Ali Rizvi and Sarah Haider. And I mean, not all of these people are immigrants. Some of them are. But any policy that would systematically keep those people out or people like them out of our country is obviously the wrong policy. Now, will some jihadists get in? Or will some people get in who could later be radicalized? Sure. I think that's probably inevitable. But it's outweighed by the benefit, in my view, of having the most liberal, most secular, most grateful to be out of theocracy allowed to come in. These people are our real immune system against these bad ideas. And again, this is a war of ideas more than it is a war, ultimately. It has to be. How many people are we going to kill? That's why I'm not for any sort of Muslim ban. But that's why I'm for a truly honest conversation about what's wrong with Islam. This is the way I tried to thread the needle on Bill Maher's show, right? We have to talk about the power of ideas honestly and converge on the best ones, sufficiently criticize the worst ones. And that's why free speech is the most important thing to protect in our society. It's the only thing that allows that process of winnowing and self-correction to continue.